Yes, sir, that's the one.
Mike Tyson, the knockout king. Jake Paul, the disruptor. When they clash, it's raw power versus new school strategy. Will Tyson's fury crush Paul, or does Jake have a shocking upset up his sleeve? Let's see what the pros are predicting. Even Hollywood's toughest martial artist, Michael Jai White, has serious doubts about Jake Paul's chances against a legend like Mike Tyson. White sees a clear mismatch when it comes to power and experience. He said in the recent episode of the Jackson podcast, "I would think that he probably would be a little much for Jake Paul because, I mean, Jake is not that much bigger. Tyson was always used to much bigger guys. And when I just think about what's Jake Paul gonna do if Tyson hits him in the body, I just don't think he's ready for that." White's words cut right to the heart of the debate. Tyson spent his prime taking on heavyweights who towered over him, delivering devastating body shots that left them reeling. For Jake Paul, who's never faced anyone with Tyson's explosive power and relentless body attacks, it's uncharted territory. White suggests that Tyson's experience handling bigger opponents and his fearsome body work could overwhelm Paul before he even gets a chance to mount an offense. Michael Jai White goes beyond simple speculation to highlight the brutal reality of facing a puncher like Mike Tyson. White, who has trained with elite boxers, knows firsthand the difference between a regular shot and a punch, perfected through years of relentless practice.
Yeah, and I can't see how Tyson doesn't land to his body at some point in the first round. I mean, when you get hit by somebody who's thrown that punch a million times, it's just different.
Yeah.
I remember sparring with Layman Brewster one time, and he hit me with a body shot that looked like he wasn't even trying that hard, and that felt like he punched through me. And because the leverage and everything.
Did you drop? Did you take a knee?
Oh no! I basically cried on the inside. Now,
White's experience underscores just how punishing Tyson's body shots can be. For someone like Jake Paul, who's newer to the boxing world and untested against a fighter with Tyson's level of ferocity, this is a daunting reality check. Tyson's body shots, perfected through thousands of rounds, are devastating even for seasoned fighters. White's perspective adds weight to the argument that Paul's resilience and preparation might fall short against the brutal efficiency Tyson brings into the ring. Mike Tyson's coach, Rafael Cordero, has been right alongside Tyson during his rigorous training and knows the beast mode mentality Tyson brings into the ring. Cordero isn't mincing words when he predicts a one-round annihilation of Jake Paul, highlighting Tyson's raw, unrestrained power as the game changer.
And I truly believe as soon as Jake feels Mike's power, he's gonna change.
So how do you see the fight playing out? What do you envision?
First round KO. Hey!
Wow.
But this is Mike Tyson.
First round.
This is Mike Tyson. This is the way he fights. Nobody has to teach Mike to fight. So it's going to be amazing. But we prepare him to go into and do his thing. Be ready to go in, to go out, prepare to counter, prepare to work his defense, and the most important thing, prepare to attack. Because this is Mike Tyson.
Cordero's prediction of a swift, brutal knockout speaks to Tyson's natural aggression and unfiltered power, traits that no amount of preparation could truly instill in a newcomer like Paul.
And how's his cardio these days?
Doing well. Saturday before our meets, he ran for 1 hour.
Wow.
So before our training.
How do you explain
It's
this?
going to be amazing.
For Cordero, this isn't just another fight, it's Tyson unleashed, with every ounce of his boxing instinct ready to overwhelm. And while Cordero respects Paul's effort to prepare, he's confident that once Tyson connects, Paul's game plan will crumble under the raw force Tyson's known for. When it comes to making bold predictions, boxing legend Roy Jones Jr. doesn't shy away from giving a comprehensive look at the realities each fighter faces. With firsthand experience in the ring with Mike Tyson, Jones brings a unique perspective to the potential battle between Tyson and Jake Paul. He acknowledges Tyson's unmatched power and explosiveness, but he also sees challenges tied to Tyson's age and conditioning if the fight extends into the later rounds.
No, I don't feel for Mike and how old he is. Mike's a very rugged guy. You know, when I was in there with Mike, Mike still was hard to hit, and Mike still can hit hard as hell. So, no reason to really fear for Mike. The only thing I fear for Mike is like if the fight goes beyond 4 or 5 rounds, then it could get problematic for Mike because of his age. But if he doesn't go beyond 4 or 5 rounds, he'll be fine. So I think he'll come out, assess the situation, see how he can deal with Jake's size and Jake's power, because Jake does have power. And after that, he'll make his mind up as to whether he wants to go and try to get him out, or if he feels like he'll be safe to do the whole 8 rounds.
Jones isn't dismissing Jake Paul either. In fact, he acknowledges Jake's power and size, conceding that those factors can pose real challenges, especially if the younger fighter manages to endure the early onslaught. The critical question Jones raises is whether Jake can withstand the sheer force Tyson brings, especially given Tyson's history of ending fights early with brutal knockouts. For Jones, the defining aspect will be Jake's ability to endure Tyson's initial ferocity and then hold up if the fight drags on.
That's the real question. How much can Jake survive? That's the real question. Because Mike has what it takes to get anybody out of there. And I'm gonna tell you this, when I boxed him 4 years ago, it was only 2-minute rounds, but surprisingly, he never really declined. He stayed the same the whole fight, and that surprised me. So if they're doing 2-minute rounds, Mike's not gonna tire out. I already know that because I watched him do it.
Jones touches on an overlooked strength in Tyson, his stamina, which surprised even Jones during their exhibition match. Despite Tyson's reputation as a powerhouse, Jones reveals that Tyson's endurance may not be a liability, especially with shorter 2-minute rounds that could keep him in his zone. Tyson's conditioning, combined with his relentless punching power, could be a recipe for a short night for Jake if he's unable to match Tyson's intensity or defend against his attacks.
I feel like with Mike, the way Mike punches and as explosive as Mike is, if he clips Jake, Jake going down or going out. If he doesn't, then Jake will be fine. But I don't think Jake will take, like what really does damage is the repetitiveness. When a guy keeps getting hit over the rounds, 6 rounds, 7 rounds, 8 rounds, still getting hit with the same shots. Mike punches so hard that you're not gonna take his shots 2 rounds in a row or 3 rounds in a row. That's not happening. Therefore, no permanent damage will happen to Jake.
Jones draws a realistic but ominous conclusion, emphasizing that Tyson's devastating punching power isn't something that fighters can take repeatedly. In his view, a single clean hit could end it all for Jake, as Tyson's explosiveness has left seasoned fighters crumbling in the past. Yet Jones is cautious. He implies that Jake's best hope might be to push Tyson into later rounds, where endurance, not power, could become the deciding factor. Roy Jones Jr. didn't just highlight Tyson's power and stamina, he also touched on Tyson's unique mentality, likening him to an unstoppable force that's wired for combat. For Jones, Tyson isn't just any fighter. He's driven by an intensity that can't be tamed, making him dangerous once he's fully engaged in a fight.
Of course, Mike is like I tell people all the time. I've had all kind of dogs, you know. Mike is like a pit bull. The problem with a pit bull is they don't know how to really play. They'll try to play, but before long, they're gonna be trying to fight for real because that's just what's in their blood. Not that you should do that, but that's what's in their blood. That's who Mike Tyson is. Mike Tyson is a guy that he'll get in there and try to do what he's supposed to do, but he just can't help it. He wants to kill. Nothing he can do about that. So if you get in there and get him started, he gonna heat up. And once he heats up, it's a wrap.
Jones paints Tyson as a fighter fueled by raw instinct, who can't switch off his killer mentality, especially when provoked. For Jake Paul, that pit bull-like aggression could be his greatest challenge, as Tyson's intensity only builds as the fight goes on. Jones's warning is clear. Once Tyson is heated up, Jake will have to be prepared for an all-out assault that only ends when Tyson decides it does. Joe Rogan doesn't shy away from one of the most polarizing debates in the boxing world. Is Jake Paul a legitimate fighter or just a YouTuber trying to make headlines in the ring? For Rogan, it's not a simple answer. While many dismiss Paul as a novelty act, Rogan sees more, emphasizing Paul's raw, undeniable power.
You know, I think he's like any other young up-and-coming boxer. It's just everybody dismisses him because he's a YouTuber.
For Rogan, overlooking Paul's unorthodox rise is a mistake. Paul's approach might be unconventional, but Rogan sees something worth watching. In his words, "Bro, he has power. It's real power." However, Rogan also understands the stakes for Tyson's legacy, openly sharing his apprehension about the impact of a potential loss on boxing's storied history.
I really hope he doesn't knock Mike Tyson out.
To me,
I'll just be real bummed out to see Mike get KO'd
Right,
at 58
at
years
6.
old.
For Rogan and countless others, the thought of a YouTuber knocking out one of boxing's legends isn't just surprising, it's almost unthinkable, a shift that could redefine the sport's history. Yet Rogan also acknowledges the wildcard factor that Paul brings, hinting at a possible best-case scenario for Paul in the fight.
Listen,
Dude, he's perfectly capable of knocking him out.
he is perfectly capable. If he zigs when he should have zagged, if Mike can close the distance in a way that he doesn't expect, and Mike also has layers upon layers of attacks that are in his mind. He's forgotten more about boxing than Jake Paul has ever remembered.
Paul's youth and unpredictability could, in the right moment, catch Tyson off guard and deliver an unexpected outcome. But Rogan isn't easily swayed. He knows Tyson's instinct and experience could make it a brutal lesson for Paul, with Tyson's veteran wisdom serving as a weapon of its own. Joe Rogan perfectly captures this sentiment with a powerful reminder.
It's one of my favorite fights to watch Tyson, because it's Tyson in his prime where he was terrifying. He was so fast, and he would do angles, and he was bobbing and weaving. You couldn't hit him, and he was just coming at you.
Rogan's words bring back images of a fierce young Tyson, a force who left opponents terrified and unable to keep up with his speed and raw power. This is the Tyson that Paul might have to face, a seasoned warrior who, despite his age, still carries remnants of that same devastating strength.
And he was young. He was 20 years old at the time. He couldn't be stopped. No one had the solution. And I submit that Mike Tyson, the Mike Tyson that won the title against Trevor Berbick, the Mike Tyson that beat Larry Holmes, I think that Mike Tyson is the best heavyweight of all time. I don't think anybody fucks with him.
With Tyson's legendary status looming over the fight, Rogan underscores the pressure Paul faces, not just to win, but to stand against one of boxing's all-time greats.
I look at fighters when they're in their absolute prime, like what have you ever seen that was better than this? And with Mike Tyson, I've never seen anybody better. I've never seen any fighter, even Ali in his prime, even Ali when he was Cassius Clay. I never saw anybody who looked like Mike Tyson in his prime.
As fight night draws closer, both fighters have everything on the line. For Tyson, it's a chance to reignite the fire of his prime years. For Paul, a chance to cement his name in boxing by going up against a true icon. This clash between two eras, past versus present, promises to be more than just a fight, sparking debates on skill, legacy, and the thrill of the unexpected. With promises of bad intentions in the ring, Tyson is vowing to give fans a fight they'll never forget. Can he turn the clock back and shock the world all over again?
Day 3, you still want to with me?
As the clock ticks closer to his face-off with Jake Paul, Mike Tyson isn't just coming for a friendly match. He's coming to prove that age hasn't dulled his brutal edge. When asked about Jake Paul, Tyson didn't mince words, giving Paul credit as a boxer, but drawing a line that couldn't be clearer.
When you look at Jake Paul, and I don't know as much about Jake Paul as I know about you, everybody's very familiar with the Mike Tyson story. Do you think he's a legitimate boxer?
Well, he can fight, yeah. For boxers his level, yes.
Meaning what? Not your level?
I do not believe so. No, not at all.
That's a cold, loaded statement from the baddest man on the planet. Tyson is making it clear that despite Paul's reputation and recent wins, he's about to step into a whole new level of danger. With power and intensity that still carry the bite of his prime, Tyson's setting the stage for a fight that could remind Jake and the world why he was once the most feared fighter on the planet. UFC President Dana White recalls a jaw-dropping story that underscores just how fearless Tyson truly is. White's anecdote isn't just about boxing prowess, it paints a picture of Tyson's relentless, unbreakable spirit and sheer danger in any challenge he faces. This isn't just a fighter stepping into the ring, it's a force of nature that few, if any, can match.
I love Mike Tyson. I love him as a human being. He was gonna fight one of these times. I said, Mike, don't fight. You know, I'll line some stuff up for you. So I put him on Shark Week. He went on Shark Week, and the day that he had to get in there with the sharks, I guess he was like gonna beat the shit out of the whole crew. And yeah, people were terrified that day when he had to get in the water with the sharks because he was freaking out.
Right.
He's like, yeah, Dana's my friend. This asshole sets me up on Shark Week. I've been fighting my whole life. I got no problem fighting another man. This asshole wants to throw me in the water with sharks. and you know what? After he said it, he made a really good point. I stay out of Mike Tyson's business.
Yeah, that's a scary dude. That's a very scary dude.
Mike's the best. I can't tell you how much I love Mike Tyson.
Dana's revelation captures exactly why Tyson is unlike anyone Jake Paul has ever faced. This isn't just a match for Tyson, it's another test of his relentless instinct to dominate, regardless of the odds or opponents.
So the next step is to get Mike in the water and send him straight to the bottom, with no cage.
All right, Mike, all that stuff you learned with Paul, you're gonna get in and use it today. All right, so let's do it. Ready?
Let's do it. Let's go, big fella. Look straight out, one big step. Ready? 1, 2, 3, head up. Look out.
For Jake, facing Tyson means stepping into the ring with a man who's willing to fight sharks. A dangerous reminder of the mindset he's about to go up against. The fight isn't just about skill, it's about Tyson's raw, unstoppable nature. A spirit that, as Dana hints, can be deadly. Mike Tyson's return isn't just hype, it's a force about to collide with Jake Paul. Tyson's promise to end Jake's career isn't just talk, it's a chilling reminder that the baddest man on the planet still has a point to prove. This isn't just a fight, it's Tyson's mission to remind everyone why he's a name that commands fear and respect in the ring. Evander Holyfield, who has also been a first-hand witness of what kind of monster Mike can be, believes that Mike will have a clear shot at victory if he makes sure to stay on the offensive and maintains a steady onslaught of his ruthless left and right hooks.
Something on you.
Mike is like a snake. He'll pop out on you. He get there too quick. But if you charge him, you're gonna smother everything, because everything he push off his legs. He push off his legs so he too close.
Being one of the only few fighters who have taken down the Kid Dynamite, Evander advised Jake to stay close to Mike throughout the fight and to not let him get too comfortable in the ring, as that not only allows Mike to dismantle his opponent as defense, but it also gives him an opening to land clean shots.
I don't know how much confidence that Jake Paul have in all this, but you know he's gonna be a lot quicker. And if he stay close to Mike, then his chance of winning gonna be great. But he try to stay back from Mike, he gonna get caught. If you give him room, I mean, everybody get knocked out going backwards like this, and you get him in the room, you're gonna be messed up.
Evander also talked about how for any young fighter, it is crucial that you enter the ring with confidence in your abilities and believing in yourself, because otherwise you will never be able to handle the mental toll and pressure that you will ultimately experience on fight night.
But the thing is you don't get in these things if you don't believe you can win. I'm saying that's my whole thing. I ain't never fought when I ain't think I can win. Every time I ever got in the ring, I thought I was gonna win. I'm like, I'm gonna give my all. I'm like, so the whole big thing is that's the whole process of being a true fighter.
Adam Catterall isn't hiding his concerns about the upcoming Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson showdown, especially when it comes to the potential damage Tyson could inflict. For Catterall, the stakes in this match extend far beyond entertainment. He worries Jake may not fully understand the danger he's stepping into, especially against a heavyweight icon like Tyson. Catterall shared his thoughts, emphasizing the serious risks involved.
Boxing is a dangerous game, and you don't need to make it any more dangerous. Now, like I said, Mike Tyson's 58 years of age, but he's not a normal 58-year-old. He keeps himself in incredible shape. He's the former undisputed champion. He knows what he's doing when he's in there.
For Catterall, Tyson's recent exhibition with Roy Jones Jr. was different. A nostalgic trip down memory lane between two veterans who understood how to fight without pushing the limits. But this time, he fears things could go sideways. Catterall continued, reflecting on that night and what separates it from this fight.
When a couple of years ago, he had that exhibition fight with Roy Jones Jr., and I was all for it. I actually supported that because two legends of the game having a little bit of a trip down memory lane because the fire's still burning for him, showing everybody that nostalgia. they know how to defend themselves. They know how to make it look appealing, and they also know how to not hurt each other, if that makes sense. So therefore, I was all for them making that walk and having a little bit of fun that night. And I think we all did have a little bit of fun that night when we saw those two guys have a go at it.
But with Jake Paul in the ring, Catterall sees a different picture. Paul's limited experience and tendency to push boundaries worry him, especially given Tyson's unfiltered aggression. Catterall left no room for doubt as he wrapped up his thoughts.
Because Jake Paul ain't from this world, mate. This ain't his world. This is Iron Mike Tyson's world. And therefore, if he does take the mick a little bit, and if he does go a little bit too far, then what does Mike do? Mike's not for messing about. So there's that worry of a lad that is falling into the world of boxing.
For Catterall, this fight risks becoming a brutal reality check for Jake Paul, where youthful confidence may come head-to-head with the ruthless skill of a boxing legend. As we inch closer to fight night, there's one question that's impossible to ignore. Will Jake Paul's youth and ambition be enough to withstand the legendary force of Mike Tyson? Tyson's power and experience leave no room for mistakes, but Paul's unpredictability has surprised us before. So what do you think? Does Jake Paul have a chance against Tyson's legacy, or is he in way over his head? Drop your thoughts below.